is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura Integra. $229 a month. It's the season of performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our All-Stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, Samu, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura ADX. $239 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Panthers, the Canes, and the Heat. No one promised matter inside on the South.
Now it's all right because I turned up the volume. Hello, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard on a Monday, January 19th, 2026. Day number 18,995 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions, and day number 8,778 since the Canes were national title winners. Do we get to reset the clock tonight? Yeah, it's pretty cool that we do this every day. It's terrible on the Dolphins side because there is no hope, and we're going to add years to that list. I mean, we're going to easily pass 20,000. But the Canes, this one can be corrected, okay? This one can be corrected today. So we're going to find out tonight, man. The line went down to 7.5. We shall see what we shall see. Looking forward to it. Can't wait for it. I am just, what, I'm blessed. And I thank all of you out there, and I thank our great sponsors that over the last 6 years, I've been able to transition my life. And I don't have to necessarily go to these events, okay? I've been to so many of them. I don't want to go to these things. I can cover them from afar. I can watch the games. I can see all the same press conferences they all do. It's not like people that are writing are getting ahead of me or on the curve or whatever, and I prove that all the time. So the biggest blessing I have, besides the good Lord letting me awake today, which every day that I get to awake, it's a blessing. But man, the fact that I don't have to cover that game tonight and go. And by the way, with all the orangutan showing up, which is going to add to more security to the whole thing, I am so glad I don't have to go to this game. Now, listen, it comes from a different position. I've done all these things many times over. I've seen all this stuff already. So for those of you that never have, then yeah, I get it. Well, you want to be there. You know what I mean? But man, it is a whole different ball game than just rolling up a couple dollars and walking in the early 80s to the Orange Bowl. Life has changed, man. Life has changed. Life was, I hate to be the old man on the lawn or whatever. All you youngins, y'all missed out, bro. Y'all missed out. That's all I got to say. Y'all missed out on the lifestyle, the music, just everything was just way better. It's just way better. But anyway, just overall, I am super blessed I don't have to be there tonight. God, to have to deal with all the traffic crap and going in and out of that stadium. And, oh, man. And I know that if I was covering the thing, I would have to be there so many hours before. Ridiculous. So I am blessed. I get to enjoy it from the outside. By the way, speaking of Caneswear, got my Caneswear shirt on and everything. Figured I'd wear my green one today. Remember, you could get your stuff there and use our code BIG010 and save 10% off. So if you want to get a shirt, a hat, a jersey, whatever it is before the game tonight, rush on down there to 2655 South University Drive and go check it out and get whatever you can get. They have run out of this hat. They're gonna reorder it. You know what I mean? Because several people have asked about it. I feel bad because it is a killer hat. You know what I'm saying? But they have tons and tons of hats and shirts and all kinds of stuff. A flag for your car, anything you're looking for, a banner, whatever, man. Okay, they've got all kinds of stuff there at Caneswear, and use our code BIG010. And remember, when you order online, you will get free shipping when you order over $99. So make sure you visit our friends there at Caneswear. So good to see the Canes where they're at right now, man. This is a lot of fun, and we need it. We need it, especially as Dolphin fans. We need it, and we need it badly. And so let's see if Mario and the boys can get it done And really, this is the weirdest thing in the world. Even though the Canes earned it, okay? But you got to thank the committee. You got to thank the committee why the Miami Hurricanes are here. And going back to one thing that wasn't good in my past, okay? My music was better. Life was much better. The environment was much better. Even politics was much better. Everything was much better except the committees. Back in the day, Notre Dame and Alabama would have gotten in and Miami would have been out. But apparently they're more inclusive now, and now they're more fair, and now they're more unbiased, because the one thing I grew up with is bias. Bias, big time against the Canes. And you guys know I was what's that called? I was just given into the fact that, yeah, they're not getting in. The losses to Louisville and SMU, they're going to burn them for that shit because that's what they do. I thought for sure. You guys know it. If you watch the show, you guys know I thought for sure they were burned with that shit. You know, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, man, I get it. This is how it's always been. You know, they're going to screw them. And, oh, well, head-to-head. And didn't think that would be as important as it should be, especially when they're kind of even anyway. But, you know, the whole thing, we have to, like, that one moment is what made it a failed season to a successful season. Think about that. That decision decided everything else in the season. Because if you didn't get in, that you didn't win the ACC, you didn't make it to the ACC championship game, you didn't get in the playoffs, and then all we're going to be doing is talking about SMU and Louisville losses. So that one decision changed everything, dude. Everything. It gave the Canes life, and it gave them an opportunity to actually make the season a successful one, because at that point, it was a failed season again. And all of a sudden, that one decision changed everything. That one decision changed everything. And it put the Canes in a spot where they could actually justify the decision made by the committee and prove to the rest of the country, even the people that doubted it, well, no, they should have let Notre Dame in. Well, now nobody can say that anymore. Even Notre Dame can't say anything because they lost to Miami. See? So they're even out of the discussion. You know what I'm saying? And all of this was because of one decision. That was everything that made everything. We would be right now so bitter, and we would be so pissed off because they were better than what their record showed, because the two losses they shouldn't have lost. When you win these games in the playoffs, it proves that you had no business losing to NSU and Louisville. So, SMU, I said NSU. I got the Sharks in my head. SMU and Louisville. And so it's cool. You got to realize that moment was the watershed moment of the entire season. It changed the outlook of the season. It changed the direction of the season. I mean, think about that. That's some crazy, crazy shit. That one decision altered everything. And here we are. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. It's, listen, years ago when I'm a 17-year-old, right? Something like that, in 83, I guess. Yeah, about 17, and I'm watching the U beat Nebraska. It's just, wow, and you win, and then all of a sudden you also become the national champion and everything. It was like,
And there's a little bit of that to this year of reigniting, really, truly reigniting the program, because that championship in 83 is what really, I mean, I could always go back to the Peach Bowl with Howard and say that that's kind of when we really felt like we were turning the corner. And I'm going way back, and most of you, I've lost most of you. There's a very small section of you that are following me in the history of this. But that's when I feel like most of us felt like the U was turning the corner, because we were going nuts just making the Peach Bowl. Okay, folks? I know it sounds kind of ridiculous nowadays, but in those days when you haven't accomplished anything whatsoever, the Peach Bowl with Jim Kelly was actually a big thing. And then, we started, and then to do what we did with Bernie was just stupid, ridiculous. And beating Nebraska was just, and then that really ignited the program and it took off. And so this is it right here, man. This is it right here. I mean, Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback, went right into the portal on the final day, and word has it that he's coming here to Miami. And it's what I told you guys. You didn't need to go get the top court. They tried, but Mensah's more than enough that you need here in order to win. And it's not like he's, the Arizona State kid, or even considered was it Sorensby, the other guy that was like number 1, and then the Arizona State kid was number 2. He's not even considered at their level, but for the U, it's more than enough. Absolutely. And that'll buy Luke Nickel the 1 year he needs. So he'll be 2 years in the system, physically, mentally, he'll mature. And then, you can, I think he's like a true sophomore, right? Because if you redshirted him last year, then he'll be a freshman this year, and then he could be a sophomore next year, actually. So, he could be a redshirt sophomore next year and start for you. And and depending on, how good he is and the whole NIL thing, you could have him for 3 years. You'll definitely have him for 2. But I think that's their plan. Buy the kid 2 years, not just 1 year and throw him to the fire. Buy him the 2 years. Yeah. So it was cool. It was cool. But that's where I kind of feel I have a little bit of that feeling again here, where you're resurrecting that program. And it all comes down to that one decision, dude. That one decision changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. We were in a fork in the road. It was going to be a failed season, and we're going to be pissed off and all that shit. And because they got them into the playoffs, that's it. And we all talked about it. All they had to do was win the first game, and season's over. You beat Texas A&M, your season's a super success. You're fine. You did what you were supposed to do. You didn't win the ACC, but you got in the playoffs and you won the first round, and you won on the road against 100. Okay, you go lose to Ohio State. We're good, man. Sucks, but we're good. I get it. Good. You end the season without going into the playoffs, without going to the ACC, without winning the ACC. We're pissed off. So now you've been playing with house money now for a couple of weeks, and here you are. Just like you were in 1983 against Nebraska, playing with house money. Nobody expected you to beat Nebraska, and Vegas doesn't expect you to beat the Hoosiers. So this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. And you really couldn't ask for a better position to be in. Now, when we start talking about this matchup, it's really, really, really simple, okay? It's really not that difficult. Play the Ohio State game, okay? Play the Ohio State game, and you win. That's all. If you play the Ohio State game, you win. If you play the Ole Miss game, you lose. This is not the game that you're going to overcome what you did against Ole Miss. Indiana's better than Ole Miss. Indiana will make you pay if you make the mistakes that you made against Ole Miss. Indiana will not make the mistakes that Ole Miss made. So Miami has to play the game they played against Ohio State. Stop their run, control the quarterback, try to keep them away from big plays. Not going to be easy, but you got to stop that run. And on the flip side, Miami has got to play clean football. Carson Beck cannot turn over the ball. The running game has got to be prominent. You know Mario's going to establish it. And guys outside named Malachi must make plays. CJ, everyone must make plays. But what they cannot do is fumbles, interceptions, penalties, mistakes. Those are the things that will eat them alive. If they play the clean game they played against Ohio State, I already took the Canes plus 8.5. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to wait for the beginning of the game, and maybe they do something that the point spread goes even higher and I get even more points and I can double up. And that's probably what I'll do. I have a lot of confidence that the Canes can get it done. The only way I feel the Canes lose tonight is if they play stupid football. And if they do the stuff that they did against Ole Miss, yeah, they'll lose. They'll lose. And unfortunately, we've seen that team, you know. Yeah, but it only showed up once so far in the playoffs. I hope I hope they got it out of their system. You know, if they got that out of their system, then we're good. Then we're good. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait, man. Really can't wait. Super, super pumped. Our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Alan does an excellent job out there. Eric Stampone getting it done. Go meet our friends out there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard. And don't forget that when you mention our name, you will get $500 off at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. So go check it out. They got an amazing selection of vehicles. The 2025 Forester, they still have it in stock right now, $249 a month, 1.9% financing. The 2025 Outback Premium, $326 a month, folks. They've got no payments for 90 days right now. Looking for a 2025 Crosstrek, only $199 a month, 1.9% financing. Again, no payments for 90 days. The Legacy Premium 2025 model, $269 a month, no payments for 90 days. You can get 2.9% financing. The Forester Premium Hybrid, $299 a month, 0% financing, and no payments for 90 days. Take advantage. You're going to love it out there. Great people at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Ira Winderman, by the way, will join us at the top of the hour. Hey, they beat OKC. I mean, it was a cool win. It's a facade. It doesn't mean you've turned the corner in anything of your season or you're going to be better or anything like that or whatever. But how come they didn't desperately need to play Ware that much? He played, 16 minutes, 16 minutes, 7 points, 9 rebounds. What happened? For all that talk, listen, I get that the coach had, I guess because he called them out publicly. And the part is, if you call him out publicly, there must be a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. And he must be frustrated. And I get it, but I'm on Spo's side on this one. There's a lot of stuff that's wrong with the Miami Heat, and it has nothing to do with Spo. It has to do with the ownership. It has to do with the front office. It has to do with some of your players. Spo is the only thing that is just absolutely fine in that front office. We're good, dude. We're good. Spo's good. That to me is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And just because you're frustrated that the Heat suck, you want to create a little controversy out of nothing. Your bigger controversy is that you hung on to Tyler Hero too long, and now here you go. And by the way, none of this is hindsight. I talked about it then when he was playing the whole season. I said, bro, trade his ass now, trade his ass now, trade his ass now, trade his ass now. And instead, they started thinking about long-term and all that. And then the beat writers are all talking because that's what the Heat's talking about. And then they're promoting him, and then they're promoting him and all that. And you had to get off that damn bandwagon, and here we are. Oh, and by the way, Bam has played a couple of decent games here. If he strings another 10 of them, trade his ass too. Okay? Powell, trade his ass. Wiggins, trade his ass. That's the real problem in this franchise. They don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're not willing to do what you need to do in order to become a great franchise again. So they'll stay mediocre because that's what they are. They're now a mediocre franchise. So you guys can go ahead and deal with the shiny little object of wear or whatever. That's not saving your season. So I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about here. There's nothing that's saving this season. And so you should be planning for the future in the process, and they're not doing that. They still live in the moment like they've got like a real shot at something, which is just really ridiculous and a lie to your fan base is what it is, because you're basically lying to your fan base. That's what you do. And you're lying to yourself too, because if you actually believe any of this bullshit, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But 122 to 120, Sean Stanley. Give Eric Spoelstra a victory cigar. Anyway, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, tonight, they will take on Golden State at 10 o'clock. The Myron Gardner kid was interesting last night. What else do we have? Panthers, after getting smoked 9-1 by Carolina on Friday. Saturday, they bounced back against Washington 5-2. Tonight, they'll take on the Sharks. So we'll see if the boys can get it done. But you know what? Give them a victory cigar for beating Carolina. Sean, 5-2. Good shit. Good shit.
Kachuk is back tonight.
I'm sorry?
Kachuk is back tonight.
Oh, he is? Ooh, I missed that. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was just like about 5 minutes ago. I was waiting until you either did the 3A graphics or talked Panthers before I came on.
Oh, so they just said it 5 minutes ago? Okay. All right. Wow. Awesome. Well, he's been practicing, and he's been taking on contact and everything for a while now, so I guess he's ready. Let's see. The Atlanta Falcons have retained Jeff Ulbrich as defensive coordinator. Okay. Okay. So that's so Stefanski putting that part of his staff already. I see. All right. Okay. Sean McDermott, by the way, for those of you that don't know, was just fired a little bit before we came on the air. So the Bills have fired their head coach. They got let's talk a little bit about what happened the last 2 days in the playoffs. Last night, the Bills lost to the Broncos 33-30, and the AFC Championship got ruined too because Bo Nix ended up, busting a bone in his foot in the second to last play of the game. They end up advancing, but Jarrett Stidham is going to actually start. I actually like Jarrett Stidham like as a backup quarterback, a guy like a project guy when he was coming out of the draft. And he's kind of made it as a backup, but you're going to put him in a starter position. That's going to be tough. We'll see. We'll see how good Sean Payton can coach and how aggressive that defense can be to give themselves a shot against the Patriots. But I want to talk a little bit about Josh Allen and talk about football and philosophy and how so many out there are so full of shit. Okay. And this happens a lot. Okay. Right away, we've got people, whoa, the Dolphins need to go out and get a quarterback. Yeah, why? I know they need one, but I'm sorry. Do you think you're a quarterback away or something? Because you're not. And Josh Allen is a great example. The dude's a hell of a quarterback. Okay? But he's not that good. Because, see, when you say, well, you know, the quarterback's going to carry you, was he able to do that yesterday? Is he really able to do that at all? No. You know why? Because Josh Allen is not a good enough passer. Okay? Tom Brady is, and Pat Mahomes is, but Josh Allen is not. And as you watched yesterday, several inaccurate passes. And so it should prove to you that the game is not about just the quarterback. And that's why Howie Roseman has got it figured out. He creates a team that the quarterback only has to facilitate and do his part. He doesn't have to carry the team. There are receivers, there are running backs, there are tight ends, there's an offensive line, maybe there's a fullback, you got a defense, you got a really good coaching staff. There's a special teams unit. There's a whole load of people that help your quarterback win. Because Pat Mahomes can't carry you by himself either. Because when he doesn't have the receivers or the offensive line, he gets his ass kicked. Oh, and by the way, Chris Jones is now become a shell of what he used to be. Wonder why Pat Mahomes wasn't that good this year. Must have been Pat Mahomes. No, it's a team game. So the Dolphins need to focus on building a team because the Dolphins are a really stupid franchise, and they forgot that you got to win at the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. They forgot that when they were at their best, Bob Greasy didn't have to do much. He didn't. Just had to manage. Why? Because they built a massive line, great defense, impeccable running game. They had one of the best receivers in the history of the game. You know, they had every element that you needed. They had a great coaching staff, so everyone could complement everyone. People lose the fact that football is an incredibly awesome team game, but it has to be a team game. We, in the fantasy football era, and they do it a lot on QAM because they play like fantasy radio over there a lot, right? Because none of them really talk about this. You know, I heard Joe right away with Dave High. Oh, we got to go get a quarterback. One guy actually played the game, but I've worked with Joe for decades, so I know Joe thinks like a fan. He doesn't really think like a former player, you know. That's why he's so endearing with fans, because he does a lot of the silly shit and thinks about a lot of the silly shit that fans think about. And sorry, fans, but you think about a lot of silly shit. And so when you start to think about a football team, it's a team. Build it up. Don't go getting a quarterback and then put the weight of the world like this moron that you just fired. You had a quarterback that needed a running game and an offensive line. Did you do it? No. You had a quarterback that needed a full-time tight end. Did you do it? No. You had a quarterback that needed tall, wide receivers because that's what you want to do with short quarterbacks. Did you do it? No. So front office, coaching staff, you failed. You don't even know how to build it. When you had this guy, did you build the dominant offensive line that could run the ball? No. Did you build a dominant defense that could help him? No. Did you really have a great coaching staff on the sidelines? No, actually. Some coaches were good, not all of them. Your front office sucked. So Josh Allen is a great example. He can do so much for you, but even Josh Allen cannot carry you, will not carry you, will never carry you. That's why you win nothing with Josh Allen, because your team's not good enough. And yesterday, the guy tried everything, but because he is an inaccurate quarterback at times, and he always has been, he's just limited the inaccuracies. He is a lot less inaccurate than he was, but the inaccuracy will always exist with Josh Allen. He will never be Pat Mahomes. He will never be Tom Brady. He will never be any of those pinpoint passers, Aaron Rodgers. He'll never, ever be that guy. He can make some of those plays, but he'll never be that guy. So because he's never that guy, you better make sure you have the right receivers, the right running game, the right offensive line, the right defense, and a great coaching staff, because no one is good enough to carry you by themselves, no matter however you guys want to paint it. The Patriots were running out of gas, even with Tom Brady. He had to leave to go somewhere else. Even Tom Brady could only do so much. You have to get a team. So I think the Josh Allen thing is a beautiful example of what football is really all about. And the misconception and the fantasy football bullshit that you hear from writers sometimes, that you hear on local radio sometimes, because it's always a myopic approach to the whole thing. It's a feeble-minded, it's just narrow-minded. All you're doing is thinking, oh, quarterback will fix everything. Quarterback will not fix everything. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because Matthew Stafford was there in Detroit and we thought he was a choker. But it really wasn't that he was choking. It's just that he's with a terrible franchise and it puts him in a terrible position and he has to do everything and he can't. So now he goes to the Rams, where they actually have all the pieces and a great coaching staff and both sides of the ball and all that kind of stuff. And wow, damn, he's on the brink to making it to another Super Bowl. What a concept. They must get it over there in LA. Yeah, Rams must have figured it out. It takes a lot more than a quarterback to win. The faster the Miami Dolphins figure that shit out, the faster some of you in the media and some of you as fans figure it out and stop thinking, oh, no, let's trade up for Mendoza. Remember that stupid shit a couple of weeks back because the Giants had the number 1 pick and you had a whole bunch of Dolphin fans and little stupid Dolphin websites and writers talking about, well, you could trade up for the Giants to get Mendoza. Yeah, that's going to solve all your problems. Let's just go trade for Mendoza, trade up a bunch of picks, trade up, sign Mendoza, and our problems are all solved. Stupidity just continues, bro. Ignorance just continues, dude. People just, it's amazing. The definition of insanity is the Dolphin fans. That's the definition of insanity. Thinking, oh, yeah, no, let's just go get the quarterback because it'll solve everything. Meanwhile, you got other teams that end up winning titles with lesser quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts. Who the fuck is Jalen Hurts, bro? Are you kidding me? Nick Foles, Trent Dilfer, a broken down Peyton Manning. How many examples do you need in recent history that you don't need a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl? You need a great team. And usually when the great quarterback wins, it's because they had a great team next to them. Even when the shitty or average quarterback like Jalen Hurts wins, you had a pretty damn good team. By the way, how good is Houston? Are they good because CJ Stroud is good? Or is it because the team is pretty good, bro? Receivers, I know Nico was, injured, but they have receivers on that team. They've got tight ends. They got running backs. They got a defense. They got a good coaching staff. Do they have a great quarterback? Because they won a lot of games. I see. They have a great team. There you go. It's a Hostetler, a Brad Johnson. The examples are all over the place in the last 25 years. In fact, a quarter of the teams, we've already mentioned, a quarter of the championships in the last 25 years are won by shittier, mediocre quarterbacks. Because there's no shittier quarterback that has won a title than Peyton Manning. No shittier quarterback. That is the worst quarterback to ever win a title is Peyton Manning. I love saying that because it's so screwed up. Like you're talking about one of the greatest ever, but the year he won it with the Broncos, he was dog shit. He couldn't throw for 10 yards. He was 100 times worse than Nick Foles, dude. Nick Foles throwing with his left hand, right? Because he was right-handed. Nick Foles with his left hand was better than Peyton Manning. Trent Dilfer with his left hand was better than Peyton Manning. Okay? Cleo Lemon with his left hand is better than Peyton Manning. And they won a title. A quarter of your titles, 25% of your titles in the last 25 years have been won by mediocre quarterbacks. So when you watch Josh Allen, you know who's stupid? The Buffalo Bills are stupid. The ownership is stupid. The coaching staff is stupid. The front office are a bunch of morons. They put the weight of the world on the quarterback. And this is what you end up with. And the guy is broken down by the end, beaten down, taking so many hits. He's crying in the press conference when he has no reason to cry. No, he should be, he's a great team player and a great teammate. But honestly, you should be screaming at everybody going, you people suck. You didn't build, you have a franchise quarterback and you don't build around him. And that's why Josh Allen's never going to win anything. Because if you don't build around him, he's not carrying you to the title. No one's carrying you to the title. No one. No one. You better have the team. And that's what I loved about watching Josh Allen fail, because it's a lesson for people out there that keep thinking stupid things. Let's just get the quarterback and we will solve all our problems. We had Marino here and we didn't solve anything. I don't know how many times I got to repeat it. We had Marino here and you didn't solve a damn thing, dude. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Of course, you can always send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. We always appreciate it immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you out there. Ho Yoon, thank you, sir. I will see you in 2 weeks, my brother. Or a little less than 2 weeks, actually. It's like 12 days or something like that, right? Something like that, 19. Yeah, 31st. So 30th, right? So we'll be out there in 11 days, Ho Yoon. I'll see you there, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation as always, and you can send in your questions and comments too there. All right. Just watching the whole playoff run yesterday or over the weekend. A lot of lessons to learn. Caleb Williams and Bo Nix are two guys that lived off of heroics all year. And they're not great at playing on schedule and doing the easier stuff. It's weird, right? That Caleb Williams does these amazing plays, but he can't play the game in a simple fashion. He's also, like Josh Allen, inaccurate. He will throw inaccurate balls. Bo Nix will throw inaccurate balls. There's a lot of similarities with these guys. These guys aren't pinpoint passers. They're not. But they are incredible athletes, and they can make some plays. But the other lesson to learn over the weekend is that if you live by the seat of your pants, you are going to die that way. And Caleb Williams ended up dying that way because he couldn't do the simple stuff. And in that game, he had simple passes that he missed, and he made some amazing ones. The deep ball, I don't know what the DB was thinking of. Like, he probably underestimated Caleb's arm and didn't stay with the DB. And there was a safety to the right and the DB in front of him. And it's like, how are you not marking the receiver in the court? That you got one job. You got no shot at getting Caleb. He's 40 yards away from you. What are you coming up for? Which was like, that was like stupid coverage. There was no reason for that even touchdown to even happen. But hey, credit to Caleb, credit to the receiver. They got it done. But you cannot live that way. And so Bo Nix, unfortunately, suffered the injury. But eventually, this is all going to catch up to all of these guys. Okay? Whether it's Caleb or Bo Nix, you have talent, but you've got to fine-tune it, and you've got to learn how to play on schedule. You got to do the easy stuff, and you got to be able to complete the easy stuff on a consistent basis. The hard stuff that you guys do, you're doing that at a great percentage. The easy stuff that you're supposed to do, you're doing it at a shitty percentage. And so then that's what keeps you behind as a quarterback and then puts you into the Chucky Carr mode. To use a different kind of analogy, Chucky Carr hits, here's the bat. He sees it and he reads it wrong. He goes, oh, and then all of a sudden he has to take off. And then he's making this amazing catch. And you're going, wow, what an amazing catch. Yeah, but it shouldn't have been an amazing catch. Because if he actually can read the sound and the pop off the bat, he should be in better position where he can make it an easy catch. And we have the Chucky Carr of quarterbacks in the NFL. And it's fun to watch. It's exciting to watch. But you cannot depend on that. You must play on schedule and then have your heroic moments. If you play off schedule all the time and then you're constantly playing behind the 8 ball, you will get burnt. So it'll be interesting to see how Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, guys like this, develop over the next couple of years because they tend to have the same issues. Will they continue to have the same issues as Josh Allen, who has always been inaccurate? He's just less inaccurate nowadays than he used to be. You know, that's where I laugh sometimes when people talk about drafting and trading up and, the Buffalo Bills. Nobody was thinking that. Only the Bills were crazy enough to trade up for Josh Allen. Most people saw what they saw and they said, wow, this guy's terrible. And in most cases, the history of the game, if you're inaccurate, you're always going to be inaccurate. And guess what? He still is inaccurate to a certain extent. That really has not changed. You cannot count on Josh Allen to be accurate all the time. So if you haven't figured that out in Buffalo, you better build a team around him. So that way you don't put that on him or Caleb or Bo Nix. Because they're guys that have trouble playing on schedule. And that is a real problem. People, it's like when the Matt Staffords and the Tom Bradys of the world and the Pat Mahomes, and they dink and dunk you and they hit the 4 and the 5 and the 7 yard and the slant and the curl. And you're like, damn, hate this. All these low passes. It's like 1,000 cuts. It's like when they're torturing you, and instead of just giving you one, they'll cut you 1,000 times, which is a lot worse. And that's what a quarterback must have the precision to cut you thousands of times. But if you're just depending on just the big cuts, there's going to be a lot of misses too at the same time. So a lot of lessons to be learned here. And it's things that people should see and pay attention to, because that's how you build good football teams. You know, accurate, consistent quarterbacks that can make a living in the pocket. You want them, if they can use their legs, fantastic. But you cannot make a living being a complete wild card. It rarely happens. That's why Brett Favre won only one title. And I have some other reasons also, because then it's going to go into the Dolphins too. We'll talk about that also. But anyway, So Bills lose to the Broncos. They move on, unfortunately, Bo Nix. So that ruins the AFC Championship game. New England will be advancing. New England's already back into the Super Bowl. No Tom Brady, no Bill Belichick, and they're back in the Super Bowl. You hear that, Dolphin fans? Stephen Ross? That owner turned his team around. He's back in the Super Bowl. Anyway, Seahawks dominated the Niners. I thought the Niners would make it a little better, but man, the Seahawks are so good. God, they're so good. So damn good. And the Niners were just too injured. But Shanahan, magnificent year by him, dude. Magnificent year. Pats over the Texans. CJ Stroud is just, and May, by the way, he lost 2 fumbles. He had 4 fumbles and lost 2 of them, too. So he didn't have a great day, but again, it's that Houston defense. My God. Wow. All you need now is a half-decent quarterback. You don't even need a dominant quarterback in Houston. Just get a facilitator, man. CJ Stroud struggles with the easy stuff. And then the Rams over the Bears, and we just talked about all of that in that one. But fun weekend of playoffs, and also reminds you how far the Dolphins are, because they don't have a defense like that. Because there's some nasty defenses in the NFL right now, dude. I mean, absolutely nasty. Ohio John, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. He says, Mark Rippon beating the Bills was the first Super Bowl I watched. Didn't realize how mediocre he was when I was a kid. Yeah, he just got on like a little hot streak for a couple of years. Dude, Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs is the best ever. Ever. The greatest feat is not the undefeated season by Shula. The greatest feat by any NFL coach is Joe Gibbs winning 3 Super Bowls with 3 average quarterbacks. None of them will be in the Hall of Fame. Joe Theismann will never be in the Hall of Fame. Mark Rippon will never be in the Hall of Fame. Doug Williams will never be in the Hall of Fame. All good quarterbacks. Average, maybe. You know, like I would give Theismann and Doug Williams good quarterbacks, and Rippon is a mediocre quarterback. He just had a little stretch where he played well. That's all. That's it. So, yeah, thank you, Ohio John. Appreciate you on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. We have dipped. I would imagine that we've got a bigger dip coming tomorrow. So be careful, folks. Market's going to hit badly with this whole Trump and Greenland and all that kind of stuff. That's some bad stuff. Really, really bad stuff. We got a president that wants to attack a country because he didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize. It's like insane, dude. Insane. But this is what we voted for. So, now we're going to attack sovereign countries because we're bitter that we didn't get a. And by the way, it is true, just in case, if you guys don't know this, he actually wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Norway. Okay? Says, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I feel no longer an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant. But can we now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America? Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China, and why do they have the right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only a boat that landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had a boat landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should be doing something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. He didn't get his prize, so he's attacking people. Woo! All right. Anyway, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Heat last night, they defeat the Thunder 122-120. Miami improves to 22-20. Bam with 30 points and 12 rebounds. Myron Gardner off the bench, 11 points, 3 of 3 from three-point range. Tonight, they will take on Jimmy Butler in Golden State at 10 o'clock. All right. Tonight, the Panthers are back in action. San Jose is visiting the Panthers at Amerant Bank Arena. Why are they playing tonight? Why are they playing tonight? The good thing is it starts at 6, so it gives me a couple of hours to watch that before the game. So at least I'll be able to watch the early portions of the Panther game and then kick it to the side TV on top of all of that. The Bills have fired Sean McDermott, their head coach. The Fort Lauderdale United is off till January 31st. They will take on Lexington SC, baby, at Beyond Bankcard Field at 7:30. Get your tickets at FTLUTD.com. Support the ladies as they try to make another playoff run to the finals and try to win the finals. The Miami Dolphins, reports say they have kind of focused their search on Green Bay defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their lead candidate. We will talk about that next. And the Canes, they are now 7.5-point underdog tonight. The Hoosiers are favored by 7.5. The over and under is 47.5. Miami is plus 280 on the money line, and the Hoosiers are minus 325 on the money line. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Wow. Crazy times, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy times. What do we got here? Let me see on the chat board. Leon Fresco, same old nonsense for Finns. Hire who you know. Well, you got to expect John Eric Sullivan to hire somebody that he's comfortable with, and he knows Jeff Hafley. True Fin fan, did you see the Sullivan interview? Loved it. Yes, and I have a comment about it. I will get into it. Speed slows down size. Don't get small. Telling. Thank you, True Fin fan. Appreciate you on the super chat. All right. So Jeff Hafley is apparently the target for the Miami Dolphins. And obviously, he worked with John Eric Sullivan in Green Bay. This probably shouldn't be a surprise. Hafley has a very good resume. Okay, he's a good candidate overall. Can he get it done? I have no idea, dude. I like Campanelli. Can he get it done? I have no idea. I think the Clint Kubiak guy has also a really good resume and genes. And whether they're Jordache or Levi's or I don't know, but he's got genes. And can he do it? I have no idea. Nobody knows about any of these first-timers. Not you, not me, not them, not anybody. It is what it is. Now, the man coached at Albany, Pitt, Rutgers, BC, and Ohio State. He's been in Tampa Bay. He's been with Cleveland. He's been with the Niners, and now with Green Bay. He's got a very good resume. He's considered a very good coach overall. He was 21-26 at BC. I don't know how much you hold that against him. Bill O'Brien's a good coach. He's 9-16 right now. BC, actually, I went back to the history to do a little. Frank Leahy, who was one hell of a coach, was 20-2 in BC. Tom Coughlin, who's a hell of a coach, was 21-13 at BC. Jack Bicknell, who's a heck of a coach in his own right, maybe not at the level of Leahy and Coughlin, but he's 59-55 at BC. Dan Henning was 16-19 at BC. And maybe one of their better coaches besides Frank Leahy is Tom O'Brien, who was 75-45. So BC has a nice history of developing some coaches overall, coaches that have gone on to have a lot of success, college or pros. Excuse me. So I don't know where Jeff Hafley lands in all of this, but you've got to trust John Eric Sullivan that he must know best. And it's his job, and it's his ass on the line. Chris Greer did not hire the right coaches, and it burned him. So we'll find out if this is the right coach, if this is really the guy that they're all talking about, because I'm not sure. But it just, the vibe you're getting from the national guys and all that Hafley's like the guy they're centered on. So we shall see if they end up giving it to him. I don't know, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I can tell you this, that out of all those guys there, he has as good a resume as most of all those guys that I've talked about. Okay, I like Joe Brady. They like him. They got him on the list, but they haven't brought him in. But do I like him more than this guy? Yes, but Joe Brady might suck as a head coach. Maybe he's just an offensive coordinator. I don't know. Maybe Hafley is just a defensive coordinator. I don't know. Maybe Kubiak is only an offensive mind and not a head coach. Everybody will find out when they hire the guys. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised that Stefanski didn't come here. Why would he? Stupid. Makes no sense to come here. You go to Atlanta, you go to Tennessee, you go to the Giants. It's kind of what I thought, that Harbaugh and Stefanski would land 2 of those 3 jobs. Or maybe the Raiders, too. I'm sorry, that 4. The Raiders. That was the other one because they're going to get Mendoza. So I'm not surprised that all those teams had an an advantage over Miami. Miami has cap hell, has no quarterback, and has a terrible owner, and has a dysfunctional place. So it's a whole different. Atlanta's not about dysfunction. It's more about trying to find the right person. That's it. It's not because we're a dysfunction. Cleveland's a dysfunction. Atlanta's not a dysfunction. So they just need the right place, the right person. And I'm not surprised that he went there. Why would he come here? That would be stupid. And again, it's typical that Ross can't land anything elite as it is. And that's been his MO for 16 years. And it continues to be his MO until something changes. You know what I'm saying? Chucky Carr was the original Willie Mays Hayes. I like that. Tombstone says, just to confirm your thoughts on Manning earlier, Manning this year, he lit up the league. Denver lost to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. They, do you remember Peyton Manning winning with the Denver Broncos, sir? He couldn't throw 10 yards. He was terrible. Terrible quarterback. Okay? You're thinking about the 55 touchdown season. You're not thinking about the year that they actually won the title. He was a shell of what he was. It was terrible. Pat in Nashville, yes. Yes, part 2 is Revenge of Greenland. Yes. Yes, that is. It should be filmed. That's the movie. No doubt. No doubt. So, anyway, it is what it is. Now, one more thing. Let me, because John Eric Sullivan did an in-house interview, the Lob the Softballs interviews. And I want to enlighten you guys on something. I already did it on Twitter, so just in case if you caught it, then you know what I'm about to say. If you didn't, then well, it is what it is. And I don't blame you for not being on X or Twitter, whatever it is. It's just loaded with morons. But anyway, John Eric Sullivan was interviewed. And he was telling, I want to build the team through the draft. And I don't want any mercenaries. And you know what, John Eric Sullivan? I agree. You shouldn't really be a heavy player in free agency. But, see, Green Bay doesn't want to win a whole bunch of titles like it used to in the 60s and the 50s. Or was it 60s? I think it was, right? What was it, like late 50s, 60s or something like that, when they won a whole bunch of world championships and all that kind of stuff, and then they won a Super Bowl and all that. Modern day Green Bay has to build through the draft. Modern day Green Bay has no CEO. Modern day Green Bay has to get permission to start going into free agency. That's why they're never big players. That's why they may sign a guy, maybe 2. But they'll sign only 1 big guy. They won't sign a lot. And that's why through the Favre era, you won 1 title. That's why now through the Rodgers era, you won 1 title. And see, I respect everything that John Eric Sullivan wants to do and how he wants to build it. But he's also never had that drug. Yeah, baby, that drug. It's called a checkbook. He never had that in Green Bay. He has it here now. See, in Green Bay, when you screw up a draft pick, you just got to wait till next year. In Miami, in New York, in Chicago, in LA, you made a mistake? Let's go to free agency and let's make up for it. So, John Eric Sullivan Says all the right things, baby. Let's wait till years 2 and 3 and 4, when he's a little deeper into it, when he's made some mistakes, when he's backed up into a corner, when he's got to produce. What does he do? Does he wait till next year's draft again? Or does he say, Papa Ross, give me the checkbook. I need a shortcut. So it's really nice that John Eric Sullivan said that, but he comes from a place, being there for 20 years, that they don't do it that way. And they have to be very methodical, and they have to be very patient. Well, last time I checked, patience is not a thing that is of excess here in South Florida with Dolphins, with Stephen Ross, who's 85 years old. So it's a really nice statement by John Eric Sullivan. But we're going to see if he's like Pookie in New Jack City, when the pipe is right there next to him, or he's working in the drug facility and all the pills are going all over the place, and then he starts scooping them up because it's just too tempting. Free agency will be very tempting. Shortcuts are very tempting. So I respect what John Eric Sullivan said, but what he said, and now he's got to live it, I got to see it before I believe it. Okay? Because now he has a tool he never, ever had in Green Bay. We'll see how it works out. Our number 2 is next. Ira Winderman starts it off with a little basketball. And our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. Ira, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, and for the dog days of the season, where V. Spoelstra certainly spiced things up a little bit last week. So while the Dolphins look for a coach, while the Canes play for a championship, while Kachuk comes back for the Panthers, even in my little fiefdom, it got a little bit interesting.
Yeah, although I find it humorous because there didn't much wear last night or 2 nights ago to beat OKC. So that's why I'm on the Spo side on all of this. If you guys got him to speak about it publicly, that means privately it's a pain in the ass. That means
absolutely.
That means he's going, because he doesn't do this. And so the fact that he was frustrated enough to say it, and maybe he shouldn't have, and that's why maybe he backtracked a little bit, because people get so touchy nowadays. They don't know what it's like for a coach to call them shrinking violets. But anyways, I have no problems with Spo on this. I'm on the Spo side of all of this. I think this is all frustrations that are building up of the overall product of the Miami Heat and the state of the Miami Heat. And then you throw this little controversy in and we blow it up to bigger than what it really is, when the problems are much bigger and much worse than anything that Ware has to do with. So, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's part of the growing pains of a team that is trying to get out of the play-in, that is trying to find its way, that is caught at a crossroads. It's almost like you're talking about the Dolphin situation and how with the new GM they have to approach it differently, and how now with the coaching situation. Do you go for the win right away with Sean McDermott popping up as available? Do you go for the long view and say it has to be a process? The Heat are always caught in the middle. There's always that push-pull. They want to win now, but they also recognize, like you mentioned, the NFL, that you have to build. You have to build through the draft, that it takes time also. And so I think that's where the Ware thing enters. You can make both arguments, Big O. Argument one, Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware have not worked well as a pairing, and you're trying to win, so you have to put together the units that give you the best chance. Point number two, if Khalil is part of your future, limiting him to 16 minutes a game probably is not the best overall way to coax growth out of him. So they're sort of caught in between. Maybe by the February 5th NBA trading deadline, we'll have clarity. Have they moved guys out? Are they playing for the moment? But right now, the Heat are trying to have it both ways. They love talking about their developmental pipeline, and it's working. And you're one of your favorites, Pelle Larsson, continues to show the growth that he's a rotation player.
Great example, Ira. This is why that's a perfect where example. Okay, the second that kid steps onto the court
and busts his ass,
he forces you to think, I got to play him more. I got to play him more. When other guys, if they're not working hard, they're not going to motivate the coach to want to play them hard because they don't need them as much. They need the guys that want to play hard. By the way, and as a side note, is Pelle Larsson's face a magnet?
Well, look, he's the only guy who has his own Twitter site. Did he get hit in the face and he can't avoid it? But you know what? Literally, think of that, Big O. What's the expression? You have to stick your nose in there. That's what he does. He understands that. He is, you talk to me on our Acura Pembroke Pines report every week about the culture guys, about the Grant Longs and the Askins and the PJ Browns and the Bridge to the Future. He is that. Some guys aren't. Kel'el Ware isn't. That's not what Kel'el Ware is. Kel'el Ware does not step on the court and say, I'm going to run through a brick wall. People are wired differently. Spoelstra is trying to rewire him. I compare this, like I said last week in our Acura Pembroke Pines report, to parenting. We all parent different. Some parents are tough love. Some parents are give the kids the keys to the car as soon as they can learn to drive and let them have everything. Spoelstra is trying to find a way to push buttons. He's been largely good at finding the right buttons to make good players better. So like you said, we have to trust him to a degree, but there has to be a way to get Kel'el Ware on the court for more than 16 minutes a game. He doesn't play well with Bam. You want Bam on the court for 32. That only leaves 16. So I think he does need to go back a little and try to find a middle ground with his second-year 7-footer.
Dude, this season for Tyler Hero, holy shit, man. Wow.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. You can't excuse it. Spoelstra tried the other day when he said, look, he missed the first 17 for off-season surgery. Any player can have an off-season problem. Okay, but it's the toe contusion. Now it's 2 with the rib contusion. Look, maybe he's just not lucky. Maybe he's unfortunate, and that's fine. Any player can go through a stress like this. Many do over their career. But again, and again and again. And the only thing I've said, and I've written this in my Ask Ira in the Sunset.
By the way, Pelle Larsson's mighty unlucky, but he continues to play through it all, bro.
He's had some knickknacks also, but not like Tyler. But here's the difference. You can count on Pelle every night so you can game plan with him. Right now, honestly, and this is going to become a problem as I head out on this West Coast trip, I don't think you start Tyler anymore. I think he has to work his way back. He has to show that he can be there for 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Then you do something. But between now and the February 5th NBA trading deadline, I think you get your best players on the court. You get your best version of Tyler, however you can, and you move forward. But after a while, you can't count on someone. If the Big O show is not on the air 2-3 times a week, no one's going to keep going to the YouTube channel to find it. They're going to move on to the next thing. I think you move on to the next thing. You have to be an everyday presence in this league to inspire faith and confidence and to give the team and Spoelstra some conformity that he knows what he has. This is crazy. When I saw Tyler in travel, and I know a chest contusion could be rough. Maybe the MRI shows a rib or something like that. But the ship has sailed. The train has left the station. Any cliche you want, go with those who were there on a nightly basis.
So what's your gut tell you now? Are they going to continue with this silly run of keeping this group together and just be another playing team, another playing season? Or are we going to finally have the dump? Because if Bam's going to start playing like this the last couple of games, he's increasing that value, baby. Let's go. Move him. Yeah,
again, I have 2 timetables. And my timetables are this. First, you address the issues we could wind up losing something for nothing. Andrew Wiggins has a player option after this season. He could be in the wind. You might tell me, whoa, Ira, he's got $30 million coming. Why would he give that up? Because when you get older, you want years. So he might bypass the $30 million and take 3 years at $80 million, 3 at $75, just to get the larger money. You don't want to lose a player for nothing ever. Norman Powell, if he's not extended, can just walk. And believe me, contenders would be frothing to get a guy who's instant offense like that. So here's my 2 timetable plan, Big O. By February 5th, Get what you can for Norm. Get what you can for Wiggs, because you don't want to lose it for nothing, preferably draft capital. At the end of the season, if there's a fourth straight play-in, but Tyler comes back and shows up for work, and Bam makes threes and shows what he does, then you can address the future. Those guys aren't walking. Tyler has another full season on his contract. Right. Bam is just starting his extension. You can deal with it then. You'll also know then about the Hawkeses and the Wares and the Larsons and a little bit more what direction to go. But if Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, and God bless them, they've done all that's been asked, are still on this roster after February 5th, then it's the same old Heat. We've got to make the play-in. We've got to try to – I mean, the ultimate fight for the Heat is to try to make it to number 6. When can you ever imagine Big O, a Pat Riley team, saying, we're number 6, we're number 6? At a certain point, you have to retool. At least start – the Dolphins said this also. At least start with a retool before you have to go to a rebuild. But do something.
Yes. No, I'm with you. It's just, it's really frustrating to see. I'm just not used to a Pat Riley team that no longer has stars, when that's all we were spoiled with for a quarter century, is just stars walking through here and out. It was like commonplace. And now it's
okay, Big O, but
ghost town.
This will lead to the segue I'm sure you were getting to anyway, and it's frustrating Heat fans, and I understand. This constant pushing back the timetable for a star, and we saw it this week. Giannis gets boos back at the fans. Giannis might be available, and he might be available on February 5th at the trading deadline, and he might be available at the NBA draft. The Heat do have their own pick this year in the draft, but I just don't think it's fair to fans to keep moving that goalpost back. Oh, we're going to get Giannis in 2024 or 25 or 26. You have to have more than a Giannis plan. There's nothing wrong with being available and open to the possibility and having the assets. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But you can't keep moving the goalposts on fans, because fans catch on. You can't keep telling fans, 2 will be good next season. 2 will be good the season after. And then all of a sudden you realize 2 ain't good. You can't do that also with keep waiting for one person. Giannis might be available, but Big O, he might not. So if the Heat have an envelope in Pat Riley's draw, here's the Giannis plan. God bless him. But they have to have other envelopes in that draw. That here's plan B, plan C, plan D, who else, and work according to that timetable also. If I hear one more time the Heat might get Giannis, yes, the Heat might get Giannis. And if the temperature dips a little more, it might snow with the national championship game. But it's not going to happen.
Right? It's not. The worst part is this team has no vision anymore. They don't see things. You don't acquire Giannis now. That player does not age well. That will be bad for you. You will have a terrible, it'll be an albatross of a contract, and your team's really not good enough to win a championship title anyways. When you look at the talent that's around right now in the NBA, Jesus Christ, dude, just watch San Antonio and OKC, and you know you don't belong anywhere near those people. Come on. I don't really understand what goes on with this team.
I mean, the whole issue lusting for great.
Like you and I have disagreed about Bam. Mm-hmm. To me, Bam is the guy you must trade now, because he's going to start getting older and he's not going to be the same. And that he's not going to be able to play the defense that you love him to play as he gets older, dude. He's going to slow down. People like that will not be able to do what they normally do at a younger age. This is not something that ages well, and I don't know how they don't see that too. On top of all of that, your Bam window is now starting to close. You're better off sending him to a contender so he can kind of help them kind of get over the hump of whatever it is.
And
but
if
you're
the
so far
ultimate
from
deal
the hump,
is there, if the ultimate deal is there by February 5th, that's one thing. But I would rather sit down at a time when I can look at the entire big picture of where we're going in the offseason, when you have months to make it work, when it's not February 5th or you're done, but rather when it could be June 1st or July 1st or August 1st and have more time and give me a blueprint. And that's what I would do. You always hear about these teams having these getaways, having these retreats. I would have everyone in the front office draw me a blueprint. Pat Riley, you from old school. Eric Spoelstra, you from new school. Adam Simon, you from the draft school. Andy Ellisberg, you from the money school. Let's get blueprints, all sit down together, go over that when you have time, not in the middle of the season, and then you decide your direction. I have no issue with that. You do things in midstream, you can make mistakes. It's hard to make things work. Look at what the Heat had to go through just to get rid of Jimmy Butler at last year's trade deadline. It was going to be the Suns. It was going to be Durant. It was going to be the Warriors. It was going to be Kuminga. It was going to be P.J. Tucker, for God's sakes, coming here, until at the last minute it was Davion Mitchell. Go into the offseason with a blueprint. If we do X, then we can do Y. I agree, but I think June and July are the time to do that, not now. But if you have expiring commodities like Powell, like Wiggins, God bless him, give him a nice cake, a nice going away party, but you have to get assets and restock now. I fully agree with that.
And I am totally impressed with those two guys. They have been pros, dude.
Yes,
pros,
absolutely. Norm didn't get his extension. He could have sulked like Jimmy did, but he didn't. No extension? Fine, I'll move forward. Andrew Wiggins finally settles in. He knows it's a professional league. He can get moved. So he hits a winning game-winning three-pointer against OKC, had a game-winning shot against Cleveland on that dunk earlier this year. He does what's asked. He's a pro's pro. They've been very, very, very good at bringing in pros because they learned from the Jimmy Butler experience. So when you do retool, it can't be for an a-hole, which brings us to the third thing I knew we were going to get to, and that's the Ja Morant thing. And all of a sudden, Ja Morant loves Memphis again. Why does Ja Morant love Memphis again? Why are the Grizzlies playing Ja again? There was no market. There was no market for a sullen player with 2 strikes against Adam Silver who wasn't getting it done, so you step away. I'm glad that he didn't throw assets there. If they were going to throw Ja for the Heat for nothing, at least you listen. Maybe you cycle back by February 5th in the NBA trading deadline. What you cannot do is act out of desperation because as glum as it's gotten for the Heat, they still have been competitive. They're still an interesting product. They still have a great coach. So you give yourself time. You don't get desperate. Ja would have been desperate for anything going out. Giannis would be desperate if you're selling your future there. But you work through that and you think it out. This is a smart organization. I do give them credit for that. They might have lost their way, but hey, it's like Eric Spoelstra and everyone that comes and says it's tough to win in the NBA also. So you have to understand that also. Bottom line, they've beaten the best team in the East this year in Detroit, the best team in the West in OKC. They've shown when everything is right, and Spoelstra is at his coaching best, they still can be there with other teams, but don't delude yourself because you're not beating Detroit 4 out of 7.
No.
And you're not beating OKC 4 out of 7. And ultimately, that's what it takes.
Yeah. And the Ja stuff, if it was true that they wanted a first and a young player, just like get the hell out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? Exactly, if it was Terry Rozier and some scrubberini to fill out the salary or whatever, then I'm fine with that. But give up nothing except cap space to them. I can understand that move. But giving up a first rounder and a young player, no interest because the guy's been an absolute...
No draft capital. No draft capital goes out. And even when it comes to prospects, I probably would draw the line at a Niko Jovic if I had to give a young player.
Yeah.
But I'd be careful therefore. And that's why the Grizzlies are
one of the young players. I really don't even want to give one of the young players actually for the guy because
I don't disagree. But if they had to, when push came to shove, I would give Nico before I give Jaime or Pella or Khalil. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it. Is the problem with that guy? It's just like, dude, like how stupid and ignorant can you be at times? And it's really baffling. By the way, what can you tell me about Myron Gardner? Because that was fun.
Hey, fun. You know what? Every team needs a sort of class clown and a fun guy, and just he has the good attitude. And Spoelstra had to. Let's be honest. If Tyler Hero was there on Saturday, Myron Gardner would not have sniffed the floor. Right. If Davion Mitchell was available, if Jaime Jaquez was. But that's why you need these guys in reserve. You need energy off the bench. The Heat used to go back to that book, The Energy Bus, and what you had to be ready. That's what you need from your two-way guys. If your two-way players, if each of them can give you 2 games when they contribute through the course of the season, that's what you want from those guys. Myron Gardner's done it a couple of times now. He will disappear. Against the Warriors, Davion's supposed to be back. Jaime's supposed to be back. Myron will be waving the towel instead. But it's inspiring, and it shows you. how Eric Spoelstra and the staff keep guys ready so that when the moment comes and all of a sudden it's the first half and you're going, holy crap, that's Myron Gardner checking in, and that he does something. And Big O, it just shows you can find diamonds in the rough, you can mine them, and maybe he's the next one in the pipeline now.
Kashad Johnson comes off the bench with a bunch of energy too.
And he's had a bunch. And that's what I want from my two-way guys, is guys who can do that, who can uplift in moments when you're down. Kashad's done that a couple of times this year also. He got graduated from his two-way to a standard deal. Look, for my 13th and 14th man, no problem. The problem is you got Terry Rozier sitting there holding a salary. You got an empty spot because of the luxury tax. You talk about a team playing with hands tied behind its back. Why don't the team has $26 million in not only dead money, but unusable money as they see what happens with Terry going forward?
Well, the Dolphins live by dead money, but that's a whole different ball game. By the way, before you came on,
and if they made a mistake on a player, it's one thing. And if Terry was on the roster every day and wasn't good enough, then you'd look back at giving that first-round pick to Charlotte and giving up Kyle and saying they made a mistake. But they don't even have an option with that or a choice with that. So really, when you look at this Heat season, to even stay afloat in that situation, take any other team, chop off $26 million in tax and cap money and say, now go ahead. They've literally been playing with one arm tied behind their back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. By the way, before you came on, I was talking about John Eric Sullivan. I don't know if you caught his interview, his in-house interview.
I did catch it, yes.
And he talked about how we don't want mercenaries and we want to build through the draft. And I'm thinking, like, this is a dude that was in Green Bay for 20 years where they have no CEO. They have no choice. They have to build that way because they just can't turn around and go into free agency like other teams do. So I'm just wondering in years 2 and 3, and I wonder if John Eric Sullivan makes any mistakes because we're all human. Does he just go to daddy's checkbook to try to make up for it? Because it's a weapon he never had, they don't have over there. And it's not something they use because they can in the way they do their business in that place because it's different than the other 31. I just wonder how enticing that drug will be to John Eric Sullivan as the time goes on.
But you can't make a mistake. And I remember doing your show. I don't even know if it was this podcast. You were doing another one when you spoke about the Ndamukong Suh contract and how that was an albatross that would kill him. So when you bring in a player, Jalen Ramsey, when you bring in a player, it has to be the right player for the right reasons also. You can spend, but Big O, we've seen so many teams, even in what I cover, the NBA. Remember the Nets, how they threw the money out, and it was Darren Williams, and it was Garnett, and it was Pierce, and they kept just throwing money after players just because you have an owner with deep pockets. In salary cap leagues, it's a different world. This is not the Yankees, who during the Steinbrenner era and even more recently, or the Mets right now. Sure, throw the money out there. It doesn't matter. No cap. Make a mistake, you'll just go to Toronto and you'll buy their shortstop and make him your third baseman. But in the NFL with the cap, like you pointed out, the dead money right now with Tua is sitting there. You can't keep adding dead money like that.
I just want to see how enticing it'll be for him as the years go on because it's a shortcut and people use it. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so Heat fans can check you out, my man?
I wrote, give him credit. Bam out of Ohio State with the three-point shot, and he found the three-point shot. I'm not overwhelmed with my 6'10 player, 6'9 player out at the arc, but if you can add a weapon, you know what, Big O, you talked about certain declining skills for Bam, and I can agree when you age, but the great players find a different way. Dwayne Wade found the outside shot, found the mid-range jumper so he wasn't falling 5 times and getting up 6. If Bam can become a stretch D and 3 player, God bless him. That prolongs his career. That's all I want to see from players is, are they going to grow? LeBron showed how you can play into your 40s if you keep adding to your game. So God bless Bam, with those 13 3-pointers over the last 3 games. I don't know if it continues, but as long as a player is showing me he's putting in the work, then I'm there for the player also. Maybe in your view, hey, if the Heat do trade him, hey, he makes 3-pointers now also. There's another reason for you to take our big man and give us 5 first-round picks. So maybe. So I'm working on that. Later today, All-Stars will come out, the starters. Obviously, the Heat won't have one, but I think Norm Powell very much is in the running when the reserves are announced in a week or so. So I think there'll be that possibility. And again, here I am again, waiting for an MRI on Tyler Hero. Another injury. How long? What are they going to do? There's always some constants with the Heat. And it seems lately it's always been with that injury report.
And by the way, the Heat traded for Thunder Dan, and Thunder Dan then suffers an injury to his back, and he has to completely alter his game. And he extended his career because he couldn't no longer be Thunder Dan, the guy that we traded for. Sadly, he had to adjust and become more of a perimeter player, and he did a magnificent job of doing that. So, yeah, the smart ones, can adjust to all of that. Michael adjusts. I remember Magic developed a little baby hook and all those kind of things as he got a little older.
And even his three-point shot when he wasn't a shooter coming in. Yeah, guys evolve. You have to evolve in the NBA. Yeah.
It was like a shot put Magic had
for
three.
It worked.
It did. He did improve his shot from 3-point range. You're right about that. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch and subscribe for his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you. We will catch up next week, my friend. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Always enjoy the Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, baby. There you go. The Integra 2026 model. We've got them in at $239 a month, 2.9% financing. The number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. A 2025 ADX, we still have some in, $239, 1.9% financing for 60 months. The 2025 RDX, my beautiful wife drives that every single day, $369 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The TLX 2025 model, $389 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. Get on down there. Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, great people. A service center led by Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. Outstanding. They will work hard for you to make sure you get a great deal and you drive off with a beautiful, reliable vehicle from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the number one volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. We thank Ira as always. Oh, by the way, what happened, Sean, what happened to all those articles, all those suggestions, Mike Florio and others like Signetti? Maybe, the Dolphins should go after Signetti, or the Raiders should go after Signetti, or whatever NFL team has an opening should go after Signetti. So what happened? You guys still talking about that silly shit? Some of you out there, well, I get it in the media because there's this weakness in the media that you have to do things for clickbait and all. And let me come up with it, even though it doesn't make any sense. Or you might be stupid enough because you don't read the room correctly. Because when you look at Signetti, come on, dude, that guy doesn't belong anywhere in the pros. That guy's a pure college coach, is what we kept saying here when they took out those stupid articles last week. And because, of course, since he's having success, let's create a world where we steal him from there and either a top school in college signs him or an NFL team should sign him. But you don't bother to look at the guy that actually is coaching on the sidelines. Remember what I told you guys last week? Signetti coaches too damn mad to be in the NFL. That guy won't last in the NFL. He's a little Saban. Saban is not for the NFL. Just kind of the way, you can't be a tyrant in the NFL. Sorry, that just doesn't fly. Tyrants don't last in the NFL. It's there's a psychology to it that you must dominate. And if you can't dominate that psychology, that you got to know when to massage, you got to know when to kick somebody's ass, you got to know when to praise them and all that kind of stuff. If you don't know, if you're going to be the guy that is just going to be an ogre all the time, bro, that ain't going to work in the pros. So I just found it funny. He came out over the weekend and in one of the press conferences, I think it was on Friday, I think he might have said it, or Saturday, like, yeah, no, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm a college guy and all that. And it's like, yeah. Look at him. You can tell he's a college guy. This guy wouldn't last in the NFL 5 minutes. Just no way. But hey, listen, the articles were out there. The silly talk shows were out there. They spent some time and, they got their clicks and they suckered people into actually even thinking about it or whatever. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. Very important that you smash the like button out there. Giannis will never come to Miami. Also, the head coach is overrated. Y'all won't say it, but it's the truth. I don't care if he's the head coach for the Olympic team. Yeah. Well, Collins, you're a dumbass. Roma Duras is sick of hearing about poor Buffalo and bad calls. I don't have a problem with the call. He lost the ball. That's it. I don't have a problem with that call at all. That's the way it is. By the way, I saw this interview with Chris Collinsworth and Peyton Manning. And Chris Collinsworth had a big fumble in the Super Bowl. And if you could go look for it on YouTube, it's a great conversation because Collinsworth was a hell of a receiver. He tires me out as a broadcaster, I got to say. I'm already tired of him as a broadcaster. But because he's got agendas and all that, and his PFF agenda and all that bullshit. But anyway, he was a hell of a player. And when you see the play that they talk about and they show it, Collinsworth did not fumble in the Super Bowl. That was a terrible call. Like he never had possession. Like in today's football, that would never be called a catch, ever. It would never be called a catch fumble. And how it was called a catch and a fumble in those days. And then he has to live with it for the rest of his life. It's not like Bo Camper had a catch and then they stripped him of it. The quarterback stripped him of it and he fumbled. That's different. Bo had the ball. You go look at that play, and poor Collinsworth, like he says that it still bothers him to this day, but if you look at it, you go, dude, that's not even he should be bothered that he didn't catch it. But the ruling on the field was a terrible ruling. Like it's a really bad ruling. Like super bad. Like it's obvious that he didn't catch it and fumble it. And yet in those days, there was no replay, no nothing. So it's what the guy saw, and he called it. And so the human error that everybody, the human error is great. No, it's not. No, it's not. If we can eliminate human error, let's do that. That was human error. Wow. Bad, dude. Check it out. Check it out. Let's see. Trade Hero for Morant. No, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Because then you're tying yourself to another bad salary in the process, and you're giving up a guy that maybe you could turn around and get a first rounder for down the line if he ever plays for 20 straight games. This is why, too extreme. Was it last year that he played every game, or the year before? No, because now I get confused. But that moment that he was playing the whole year, I said, "This is when you trade him now, dude." Trade him now. And the Heat have very poor vision nowadays. It's sad. I hate to say it, but like I've told you before, how is it that I make better decisions than the Miami Heat the last 10 years? That's stupid. How can an idiot like me make better decisions than the Heat? How can I see that you shouldn't pay Whiteside or Dion Waiters? How can I see that I'm the one that said you don't trade for Lowry, but you did? How is it that you extend Jimmy when you should have traded him after that second? There are so many things that I say it way ahead of time. Tyler, the year he played, I was like, okay, you got to trade him now. They didn't, and here we are. I mean, this is constant with the Miami Heat. Constant, dude. Obvious things that they should not do, and they still do them. Baffling, dude. Baffling. Dolphins should hire Sean McDermott, but they won't. Big O, will the Dolphins get their head coach today? I have no idea, Dolphin Dave. No idea, my friend. No idea. Jamesville says, that's why I laugh when Alan Poupart says that he thinks instant replay is a bad idea. Well, whatever. I mean, what are you going to do? That's I don't know if he says that, but if he does, that's obviously a ridiculous comment. It's about getting it right. Do you get it right every time, even with replay? No, but that's where the human error also comes in. It's there and you're not calling it right, Jamie Zoria in San Jose says, I hope everyone's having a great long weekend. Remember to smash the like button. Oh, that's right. You people are off today on MLK Day. That's right. Some of you, of course. Some of us aren't. Trade possibilities are trade realistic. Waddle for this year 2 and next year 1. HN for this year 2 and a next year 1. Our first rounder this year 2 and next year 1. There you go. He's got it all down. He's got it all down. Yep. Frankie says, I hate the Bills, but Buffalo issues this year is that Josh Allen only had a running back and no wide receivers. Amen, Frankie. And if you want to put the weight of the world on him, he's not good enough. Nobody is. And that's the good lesson of all of this. Because all these people, we just need a quarterback. No, you don't, asshole. You need a lot more than a quarterback. Oh, let's see. Todd says, just hit it on the great TD. That DB quit on the play. You have to finish. Yeah, I mean, that was just stupid. That play by Caleb should have never happened. You had 2 people there. You only have one job. What are you doing looking at Caleb? He's 45 yards downfield, 50 yards maybe downfield. There's no, bro, pay attention to the guy that's next to you. Knock away the ball and the game's over. I would make that DB run the stairs of the stadium 50 times. Yeah, he won't have any legs or anything when he's done, but I don't really give a shit at this point. Maybe he'll learn for next year. Maybe his legs will recover by next year. You know what I mean? I would lose it as a coach. It's like, bro, you got one job. What are you doing looking at the quarterback? What do you think? You're going to take off and go catch him? He's half the field away. You have one job. Cover the guy. It's the stupidest thing in the world. That pass should have never, ever been completed at all. No business for that pass to be completed. But when you've got that kind of DB, this is what ends up happening, unfortunately. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. By the way, Welton Realm, proud sponsors of our program. We love talking about Jeff and Dan, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Tell them that Big O sent you. 954-966-4646. The consultation is completely free, so you can explain your situation. They'll tell you if you have a case. And by the way, if you have any damage to your home or business, never call the insurance companies. Never, ever, ever. You call Welton Realm first. They send their adjusters over, and then they call the insurance company and take care of it. You never have to deal with the insurance company, and that's one headache you will never have to deal with. It's a beautiful thing. Welton Realm, 954-966-4646. Caleb might not be much, but he can run and has a gun even at a supposed 6'1". Oh, he's good. He's got all the talent in the world. He's just got to refine it so he can become a good quarterback. Right now, he's just an amazing athlete out there making some great plays, but he's not a great quarterback yet. And he needs to kind of fine-tune all the little things. Once he does that, if he does that, then he'll be really scary. Really, really scary. So we'll see. He's got a lot of growing up to do. That takes time. That's all. And it doesn't happen right away. He's a young cat. Let me do a little música. Let's start off with musicians born on the 19th of January. Karen Wheeler, singer, Soul to Soul. Back to life, back to reality. Born in 63, the lead singer of Soul to Soul. Happy birthday to Karan Wheeler. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Eric Leeds was a saxophonist and funk musician. Worked with Prince, born in 52. Martha Davis from the Motels. Love the Motels. Born in 51. Let's see. Frank Buchholz, German rocker with the Scorpions. Born in 1950. Robert Palmer, the great Robert Palmer, solo artist, also with what is it? Power Station. Did that. I saw Robert Palmer live at the Miami Night Center. I don't know, 35 years ago, something like that. A long time ago. And he passed away in 2003 at the age of 54. Yeah, this was sometime in the early 90s, probably. Yeah, I would say very early 90s. I went to go see Robert Palmer with a buddy of mine, and he did a little over 2 hours. I was blown away. I mean, he has so many songs, but not only that, it's just he was an awesome performer. And his band was outstanding. I don't know if anybody is on the chat board that was at that concert at the Night Center. That was awesome, dude. That is the most underrated concert I have ever been to in my life. Like, I got tickets for it, and I go, oh, you know what? I'll go see Robert Palmer. He's cool, this, that. And I've never, ever gone into a concert thinking, it'll be cool. And then I walk out going, holy shit, this is one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life. That's how good it was. That's the kind of performance that he put together. That was one of the best performances I have ever seen in my life. Robert Palmer. Bless that man. Rest in peace. Born in 1947, singer Rod Evans, early member of Deep Purple. Dolly Parton. Wow. Country legend, born in 46 on this date. Janis Joplin, born on this date in 1943. Me and Bobby McGee. Wow. This list started slow and it ended with some big timers. Holy moly. Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers. Wow. Damn. That is strong. All right, now let's go to famous people enjoying birthdays today on the 19th. All right, let's see. Confederate General Robert E. Lee, 1807. Writer Edgar Allan Poe, 1809. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays. Actor Gene Stapleton, born in 1923. Chef Paula Deen, born in 47. She's 79. Desi Arnaz Jr., born in 53. He's 73. Katie Seagal, born in 54. She's 72. Comedian Paul Rodriguez, born in 55. He's 71. Actress Drea De Matteo, born in 72. She's 54. Comedian Frank Caliendo, born in 74. He's 52. He's such a cool dude. Actress Jodie Sweetin, born in 82. She's 44. Hall of Fame gymnast Shawn Johnson, born in 92, 34. Musician Mac Miller, born in 92. No longer with us. It's crazy. Too young. And model Natalie Bryant, born in 2003. She's 23. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date, sir?
Yes, sir, we do. The Warlord was born on this date. Tyler Breeze turns 38. Tate Mayfair's turns 27. Pat Patterson was born on this date in 1941. And the great R-Truth. Merry Christmas to you on January 19th, 2026.
And that's no lie. Let's go with music history. What happened today in music history? You guys are wondering, like, what happened? Well, in 1971, the mass murder trial of Charles Manson was underway, much to the dismay of the Beatles. Helter Skelter was played in the courtroom. Manson had reportedly scrawled Helter Skelter on a mirror at the scene of the crime. In 1974, a traffic jam stretched for 9 miles prevented many fans from entering the Bob Dylan concert with the band at the Miami Sportatorium until it was half over. Yeah, must have been a lot of people pissed off. You couldn't see Bob Dylan. Yeah. Let's see. In 1980, The Wall by Pink Floyd began a 15-week run on the top of the Billboard 200 album chart. It was Pink Floyd's third number one album in the U.S. In 1980, Got a Brass in Pocket gave the Pretenders their first UK number one single. The band's self-titled debut album started a 4-week run at number one on the UK charts also on the day. In 1981, Sheena Easton released her debut studio album, Take My Time, and it features the singles Modern Girl, 9 to 5, which is, my baby takes the morning train. He works from 9 to 5. So they call it 9 to 5, just in case. Anyway, Modern Girl, 9 to 5, retitled Modern Train 9 to 5 in the U.S. to avoid confusion with Dolly Parton's hit song. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. In 1985, Bruce Springsteen peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart with Born in the USA. It was Springsteen's fourth top 10 single in the U.S., and I saw him that year at the Orange Bowl. Let's see what else. In 1993, Canadian rapper and musician Snow, a.k.a. Darren O'Brien, released his debut studio album, 12 Inches of Snow. It features the single Informer, Girl, I've Been Hurt, and Lonely Monday Morning. In 1993, Fleetwood Mac reunited to play Don't Stop and other hits at the first inauguration celebration for President Bill Clinton. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. He'll be banging interns. All right, let's see. In 2006, American soul singer Wilson Pickett died of a heart attack in a hospital near his Ashburn, Virginia home at the age of 64. Pickett recorded the soul classics, Mustang Sally, and Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, and In the Midnight Hour, along with 15 other U.S. top 40 singles. He was good. He was good. In, let's see, 2011, let's go with Aerosmith. Steven Tyler made his debut appearance as a judge on American Idol during the premiere of the show's 10th season, replacing Simon Cowell. In 2020, R&B singer and musician Robert Parker died at the age of 89. He was best known for his 1966 hit, Barefootin'. He played with most of the New Orleans musicians, including Fats Domino, Irma Thomas, Huey Piano Smith. And let me see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the other list, just in case. Jeff Pilson, bassist for Dokken, Foreigner, and Dio, is 67 today. And that's it. That's the only one that was missing. And there you go. All right. What do we have here on the chat board? Any questions? I will go back to Jim Kelly's first start at State College when the Canes beat Penn State by 16. You go back that far? Nice. So do I. Miami Hurricanes has a lot of history on the line tonight. Jason and his youngest son could be father and son to win the Natty and the Beck. And Beck is going after his third. Kyler says Lamar has a great team built around him and he still can't get it done. But don't worry, Lamar will win it all next year like we hear every offseason. I know, Kyler. I know, huh? That Lamar's always going to get it done, bro. He's the man. Ocala Joe says, I agree 100%, and yet the NFL still uses two guys with a piece of chains to spot the ball instead of using technology available today. No, actually they're using no chains. They're using also now they've got a digital measuring thing now. They've actually added that. Let's see what else. Brett Dodger, Big O, we get local Buffalo affiliate stations for NBC, CBS, and ABC up here, and I must say I enjoy their Bills coverage after their loss. The winning was epic on the fumbles and the ref calls, LOL. I got to tell you, it's just too funny. And just funny how you put the weight of the world on one guy and you expect him to do everything for you, and it's just so silly. Big O, which defense you take in Seattle or Houston? Can you lose with either? I'm going to go Seattle. Slightly over Houston. You know why? Because they play in that division. Seattle's defense has to deal with San Francisco and the Rams. Like Houston's defense deals with who in that division? You know what I mean? So, actually, Jacksonville's not bad. But overall, it's, I'll slightly side to Seattle. Seattle has, I was thinking more of the Rams, but Seattle, as the season's gone on, and especially the last, quarter of the season, forget it, dude. Seattle's the best. Seattle's the best team in the league. The only thing is, can you trust Sam? If you're down in a key moment, will Sam Darnold come through? Is the question. But you could easily win a title with Sam Darnold. We just had the conversation. Sam Darnold's as good or better than some of the quarterbacks that have won titles in the last 25 years. Right? He's as good or better. So, that Seattle defense is special. Special. Pat in Nashville says, I only have one sports team, the Dolphins. It's nice to watch a game tonight. It will make me happy regardless who wins. Yeah, but you got to be rooting for us, right, Pat? You got to be rooting for Miami. I mean, come on. Come over to our side. Okay? You know what I mean? You root for the Miami Dolphins, Pat. So let's root for the Miami Hurricanes. That's it. Join us on the bandwagon, Pat. Okay? Just, you're welcome to join us on the bandwagon. We love to have you, Pat. Join us on the bandwagon. Okay? Frankie, get the hell off the bandwagon. Okay? And I'll meet you on the corner of 199 and 27th Avenue today so we can get into the vents. Okay? All right? So, looking forward to it. Got my clothes ready. I got my vent clothes ready. I already thought about it. Just going to wear like an overall and a t-shirt. And then when I get through the vents, I'll go to a bathroom and then just, dump those clothes, and then I'll have my real clothes under, nice and clean. So I'm looking forward to it. If you see that there are people getting arrested going through the vents, that's because Frankie set me up for failure. Because he knows how to get in and out without any problems. So if I get caught up anywhere, I'm going to blame Frankie on that one. Okay. And I'll call Sean. I'll be calling you to bail me out. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, Lordy. What else do we have to talk about? Big O, you talking a Pat for Frankie bandwagon trade straight up? No. Frankie was never on it. No. Only Pat. I'm welcoming Pat onto our bandwagon. Frankie, we only need Frankie to get into the game. Frankie's being nice enough to get me through the vents and get through the game. Okay. He's being nice enough about that. And I appreciate that immensely. You know, I don't have a ticket. A media credential is lame. So I'd rather, go in there and enjoy myself. So I really appreciate Frankie's getting me in the game. He's a nice guy. Let's see. Ted says, Big O, please provide the link for that hat. It's at Caneswear. You got to go to Caneswear, but they have to reorder it. So you can reach out to them and send them a note that, hey, when you guys reorder this hat, give me a heads up or something so I can get it. It's an awesome hat. It is an awesome hat. Nope. Don't need the headphones, man. We don't need no stinking headphones. No stinking headphones. What's wrong with you? Oscar says, Pat, if Big O got on the bandwagon this year, you're more than welcome to get on our bandwagon. How did I get on the bandwagon this year? I was on the bandwagon before you were born. I am no longer a Florida State fan jumping over to the team that wins tonight. Oh, that's funny. That's good. That's a good one, Dolphin Dave. That's a good one. I like it. All right, we'll see what happens. We'll be back tonight. We'll be doing a post-game show, and Manny Navarro will join us fresh from the locker rooms. We'll see if we get other guests, try to work on some other things to make it a little bit bigger and have some fun. So we will be back for you here on the post-game show. By the way, there is a change of plans. We are not at Hialeah Park tomorrow. We have moved it to Thursday. Okay. So it'll go back to Tuesday next week, but just for this week, we had to adjust. By the way, congratulations to Casino Steve. Did you see that, Sean? Casino Steve went 3-1 on the spread. He's kicking ass, dude. He went 1-0-1, 2-1, 2-1, then 1-2, and now 3-1. He's done well. He's done very well. Very well overall. The wise guy went 2-2, I believe. Yes, he went 2-2, so he broke even. But Steve Calabro went 3-1 with his picks. So we'll talk to him on Thursday about that. And so tomorrow, instead of the regular 2 p.m., it'll be either 10 or 11. I don't know, because it depends on how late we go tonight. I may want to sleep in an extra hour or something, So tomorrow we'll be back to an early show. And then Thursday, we'll go back to our old Thursdays, which was in the afternoon. Okay. That's our only appearance this week, right? Because Acura is next Friday, right? If I'm correct. Yes. So that's it. So we're and next week we'll be at Subaru also. Subaru on Wednesday and then Acura on Friday. But this week we only have one appearance, and it'll be Thursday at Hialeah Park. Okay. Appreciate all of you out there. Thank you all for tuning in. Please hit the like button. Very important that you hit that like button and gets the algorithms going. Hit the notification bell. That way you know whenever we go live, like the post-game show tonight or any breaking news or anything like that. We thank, of course, the great Ira Winderman. If you missed that, you can rewind. If not, Sean will also post it later. We thank the great Sean Stanley, mastering the entire platform. We will see you all later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.